Hello, good evening to you and welcome to News 360. We are live from the News Hub at Adiso Ekanda. I'm Natalie Ford.
And I am Issa Moni. Coming up, the headlines for tonight. Vice Chancellor and Finance Officer of the University of Education relieved of their positions after Winneba High Court finds them guilty of procurement and financial malfeasance.
Also ahead this evening, National Association of Graduate Teachers threatened to withdraw its services by December 31 if government fails to pay a 50 million cedi arrears.
Other headlines tonight: the Ministry of Foreign Affairs proposes an increase in passport application fees from 50 cedis to 100 cedis for ordinary passport processing. And in business this evening, President Akufo-Addo cuts the sword for commencement of over $1.2 billion Marine Drive tourism investment project in Accra. On the international front, flights to and from West Africa disrupted by a strike by Senegalese air traffic controllers. So we've got the details of these stories for you here on News 360, including the latest from the world of sports and entertainment, streaming all across the world on 3news.com and TV3 Ghana on Facebook. Now we turn our attention to the first story for tonight, and the National Association of Graduate Teachers has given government 2 weeks to pay their 5 years outstanding salary arrears and vehicle maintenance allowances. NAGRAT says teachers will withdraw their services by 31st December if government does not pay the 50 million cedis it owes teachers within the 5 years.
2 years ago, NAGRAT withdrew its services in demand of their vehicle maintenance allowance and transfer grant. It asked government to pay the transfer grant and vehicle maintenance allowance, which spanned 2012 to 2016. However, government released 5 million cedis to offset some of the debt, and NAGRAT called off the strike. 5 years on, NAGRAT claims government has not paid the rest of the arrears, creating problems among members. Currently, the association says government owes teachers to the tune of 50 million cedis. 30 million cedis constitute transfer grant, while 37 million cedis for vehicle maintenance allowance. NAGRAT has asked government to pay the arrears or risk nationwide strike.
Let it be told and let it be heard that no matter the kinds of performance contracts government signs with heads of schools, we should forget about improvement if the usual mistreatment of teachers is not dealt with.
On salary arrears, so far 22,000 teachers have been validated for payment but are yet to receive it.
2013 has not been paid, 2014 has not been paid, 2015 not paid, and then the whole of 2017 not paid, in addition to the half of 2016. No matter how small that money is, it belongs to us. And if that is what we deserve, why deny us that opportunity to enjoy it?
It has asked government to be swift in resolving the problem.
We have been assured we will pay it, we will pay it, we will pay it. Constantly, that has been the song. And it has sounded so melodiously in our ears, but now we've realized it's turning out to be a lie, because you cannot continue to promise us every day and refuse to honor that promise.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Education says payment to the amount has been presented to the Finance Ministry for approval. It emphasized teachers have to be validated before payment, a measure to reduce ghost names.
So let's make it clear that it's not only NAGRAT. All GES staff have the same problem, and it is being worked on as a group and not as separate entities. But we also entreat NAGRAT, whatever situations or problems they have. I think the leadership, our doors are open. They can always come to us and then know where things have reached.
Let's turn to other stories now. As President Akufo-Addo has cut the sod for the commencement of the over $1.2 billion Marine Drive tourism investment project in Accra. The project, when completed, is expected to become a tourism hub for investors and tourists, creating about 150,000 jobs.
The Marine Drive Tourism Investment Project seeks to develop the 241 acres of land from the Osu Christianborg Castle to the Art Center containing the Marine Drive into a world-class beachfront tourism enclave to meet the needs of business and leisure tourists. At the sword-cutting ceremony in Accra, Tourism Minister Catherine Afeku said the project is aimed at making the country a tourism destination in West Africa.
The core objectives of this Marine Drive project is to decongest the city center of non-conforming uses and reinstate new land use befitting the capital city. We also want to create an environment to attract high level of investments in the city center. Therefore, it implies a serious paradigm shift and effective development strategy.
President Akufo-Addo pledged government support for the tourism sector to become a major contributor to the economy.
We are all aware how our countries all over the world, particularly our neighbors in West Africa, have made good use of their beachfronts and as a result rake in considerable revenues for the development of their communities. We intend to go down that path. In line with the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture's target of generating jobs, especially for the youth and unemployed, the Marine Drive Tourism Investment Project, from construction to the operational stage, is expected to employ some 150,000 people.
The president later cut the sword for the commencement of the over $1.2 billion project, which spans a period of 10 years.
Turning to other news now, the police administration has established 3 new automated digital video call centers in Accra, Kumasi and Tamale to enhance crime detection and fighting across the nation. The new emergency call center is based on a GIS system that detects the real-time location to reduce response time.
Patrol team is used to see motorbike patrols, and some Tango Delta personnel intensify all sexual and look out for same over.
These are some of the actions in the new 24-hour digital video police emergency call center. At least 120 personnel have already undergone training to man the facility on a 3-shift system.
Roger, Bravo Charlie 123 over.
Traffic lights are also functioning. Men serve on the ground, managing the traffic manually. Nothing unusual to report. Over.
Unlike the previous system, the new call center will be used for daily police operations such as emergency call tracking, speedy response to crimes, supporting the fire service and maintaining peace nationwide. Response to robberies, vehicular accidents, murder and fire emergencies, among others, will also be enhanced. Currently, there are 3 command centers in Accra that monitor the Greater Accra, Central, Western and Volta regions. The Kumasi Center monitors the Ashanti, Bono Ahafo and Eastern regions, whilst that of Tamale is responsible for the Northern, Upper East and West regions. By the improved CCTV cameras, each center is capable of tracking live events as they are reported in order to guide the patrol personnel to the spot.
In addition, a digital dispatching client, ELTE, and a CCTV monitoring screen have been deployed in Tema and other 7 regional offices for maximum effect.
The Inspector General of Police, David Asante Apietu, however, cautioned against prank calls from the public.
Prank callers can be blacklisted from making emergency calls as the system has a function that blocks such numbers. Let no one prank with the emergency hotline, else the day you will be in real need, you will have been blocked.
The Interior Minister Ambrose Derry regretted the recent incident of a policeman's involvement in armed robbery, but was optimistic of total transformation in the service.
Ghanaians must feel safe. That is still a distance away. But today we can say that we've reached another milestone, and that this milestone is one that we should celebrate, is one that should make us better, and is one that is on the way to making sure that the transformational agenda of the police is on course.
Director General of ICT DCOP Anthony Tennyson Edo assured of an effective use of the system provided by Huawei Technologies Ghana to achieve the maximum result.
A proactive intervention from some street traders at Okainshi in the Central Business District saved a carpet seller from being lynched by a group of young men from Konkungba Iya Market. The group stormed the streets near the Merchant Bank to revenge a slap suffered by their colleague early Thursday morning.
It was about 1:30 p.m. Thursday, and the location was the Kojo Thompson Road adjacent to the Merchant Bank. The attention of this reporter was drawn to an agitated crowd in the middle of the road near the Accra Central Metro Mass Transit Terminal. In spite of the rush to catch up with the story at the Accra Regional Police Headquarters, we made a brief stop to catch a glimpse of the ongoing. There was a young man believed to be in his early 30s being manhandled by a group of other young men. First and foremost, he was a victim of mistaken identity. His crime: his brother was reportedly hit by a moving cargo truck because of a coconut seller. Infuriated by this, the victim reportedly slapped the coconut seller, who incidentally comes from Kokomba Yam Market. Without saying any word, the coconut seller reportedly packed bag and baggage back to Kokomba, only to mobilize a gang for revenge. By the time the gang arrived at the scene, the victim of the vehicle accident had left for medical attention. The brother of the victim, who looks like him, then became the target. The gang pounced on him. It took the timely intervention from other hawkers who knew the two brothers and were witnesses to the morning incident to save him from being lynched. A cursory look revealed one thing: traders have taken over both the pedestrian walkway and part of the road, leading to heavy congestion. Commuters were then compelled to compete for space on the road with vehicles. We were told the accident in the morning could have been avoided if traders have not occupied every available space with their wares. So we asked, when will the Accra Metropolitan Assembly go beyond the usual political rhetorics and ensure the streets are cleared of recalcitrant traders?
Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is proposing an increase in the passport application fees from 50 cedis to 100 cedis for ordinary passport processing. The fees have not been reviewed for the past 18 years, and this, according to the ministry, is negatively affecting its internally generated funds.
The fees, which forms part of the internally generated funds of the ministry, is used to defray part of the processing cost of retooling and for establishment of passport acquisition centers in all regional capitals in order to ease the acquisition process. Since August 2009, passport application fees have not been reviewed, although the cost of processing and issuing of the documents have increased. This, according to the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, is negatively affecting the ministry. Some members of parliament want this proposal considered in order to increase the ministry's financial base.
We support the revision from 50 to 100 Ghana. Mr. Speaker, they pay more to the Goro boys to do passport. Yeah. But what is legitimate and official, we don't want to pay. 50 Ghana cedis cannot bear the cost. So we think that the honorable member deserves the support, but there are many other outstanding issues at the international level.
Meanwhile, Parliament has approved 456,196,950 cedis for the implementation of the ministry's planned activities. This allocation, according to some members, was inadequate to cater for the goods and services of the ministry. Most of Ghana's missions are threatened with eviction notices for default in rent payment. The average annual expenditure on rent and utilities for all Ghana missions is 109,646,054 cedis.
For 12 years, the Foreign Service staff have not seen an improvement in their working conditions. Allowances have not been reviewed. And the Foreign Minister revealed to us at the committee that our Foreign Service has become one of the most poorly paid as compared to other foreign services in the diplomatic community. Certainly, we cannot continue this way.
The committee was informed that about 60% of the budget for goods and services goes into payment of rent charges and utilities. That's electricity, water, and gas for the missions.
budgetary allocations for the Ministries of Environment, Science and Technology, Chieftaincy and Culture, as well as the Trade and Industry Ministries have all been approved.
Let's turn to education and health-related stories now, as the minority in Parliament has called for ministers of education and health to give answers to Parliament over the recent string of deaths in some senior high schools across the country. The deaths, which started at the Kumasi Academy, have now spread to other schools across the country, claiming about 10 lives over the past few weeks.
The health conditions in senior high schools have been characterized with fear and panic. It took health authorities months to unravel the cause of death, which started at the Kumasi Academy. The deaths, numbering over 10, have either been attributed to meningitis or H1N1, with Kumasi Academy being the worst hit. There have been recorded deaths from meningitis at the Koforidua Secondary Technical School in the Eastern Region, the Damongo Senior High School in the Northern Region, and the Boko Secondary Technical School in the Upper East Region. The MP for North Tong wants Parliament to probe these issues.
There's a lot of panic out there, and I thought that we could work out some mechanism so that in the coming week, the Minister of Education and the Minister of Health can appear before this House. We did deal with the Kumaka issue last week, and we should not create the impression as if other secondary schools are not of concern to us.
The minority leader was worried about the vaccines, which have taken too long to arrive.
Mr. Speaker, it's important that next week the Minister for Health appears before this House to let the representatives of the people know what urgent steps he is taking to deal with this emergency. It is not enough every day for us to read in the news that the vaccines are on their way. The deaths are not waiting. The disease and this health is not waiting.
There is no concrete decision on when these ministers will be in the House to provide answers, but it is likely to be next week before the House rises on December 22.
Right. Meanwhile, the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS, is asking government to proactively address the current spread of H1N1 influenza meningitis in the various senior high schools. The union, in a statement issued by its executives, have questioned steps taken by government hoping to cut the spread of diseases. Now, we have been joined via Skype by the General Secretary of NUGS, Kabu Nate. Kabu, good evening. If you can hear me, I can see you clearly on my Skype machine in the studio.
Yes, I can clearly hear you too. Good evening to your viewers.
Right, I'm sure you have taken notice of... All right, I'm sure you've taken notice of efforts being made by government to address the issue, especially the spread of the H1N1 virus. We understand, though, there's going to be a little delay in the delivery of the vaccines, which were supposed to arrive this week, and now we understand it's going to be from next Monday onwards. But how else would you have want government to address the issue, Kabu?
I think the outbreak of swine flu in Ghana has taken all of us by surprise. More importantly, at the time where there's a new government, and we want at least a smooth government, and issues about education should have more improvement. And so it's taken all of us by surprise. So we do understand the reactionary measures being taken by government, and we do appreciate that too. But I feel that, just like you've alluded, much more can be done about it, especially when it's got to do with the health of the people. I feel that immediately we started experiencing mysterious death across some senior high schools, we should have more attention being paid to some preliminary findings and how we could quickly avert the situation, because as it stands, classified information reaching the National Union of Ghana Students indicates that the virus was made to travel. In other words, certain containment protocols were breached. So students were moved from a classic example, the origin of everything is Kumaka, to the Konfanoche, hospital, which meant that we made the virus spread or travel. That is a major concern, and that led to the spontaneity of deaths that we experience here and there. It's a medical issue, it's an epidemic, and so one would expect that the evacuation, isolation, and then the containment measures be done in a very skilled way because of lives. And I'm very sure we at our end, the National Union of Ghana Students, is very sure that because it was not the first cases recorded were not really handled properly, that is what has led to the ripple effect of other students dying. We paid a visit to some schools. Some example is a Koforidua Secondary Technical. They said that the death here was not really meningitis, but it was something else, and doctors actually are yet to establish that. But we've also chanced on a document by the ministry saying that the drugs, as you rightly said, which were to be vaccines, which were actually to be airlifted, will have to delay. And that is where we say that it is a matter of health. It was quite disappointing hearing the Minister of Health say that he would have to go consult technical men to, give Parliament a stipulated time or, space of how he can give credible information. We do admit, that is a reactionary measure. It's an emergency. It took us by all surprise, but more and more could be done to avert some of these things.
Okay.
How government can actually...
Hello, Kabu, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I can, clearly.
Right, so in the midst of this, Nukes, I know you, Nukes, as a proactive body, what help can you give in terms of educating students on the various school, communities where we have in the country where the viruses have been noted and in areas where they have not? We only know about areas because some people, unfortunately, have lost their lives, but I'm sure it is not only in those places you can find the H1N1. What is Nukes doing in that direction?
So this is what Nukes is doing. We have taken a proactive step by petitioning Parliament, and not only Parliament, stakeholders involved in this, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education and then Health. We've also petitioned international bodies, World Health Organization, UNDP, UNICEF, and this is our point. We feel that Parliament, and of course the legislation process and ministers should account to what has been done. Did we have certain containment protocols which were breached, which has led to the ripple effect across the country? And because from our end, information we have is likely to be spreading, and we are likely to be having some of these unfortunate issues. I'm very saddened. My president, leader Frank Amakwin, is also saddened, and so that's why I'm even clad in black. And our point is that we should have the Minister of Health, Minister of Education, coming to tell us the steps that have been taken. Yes, we've chanced on documents on social media, but we feel that looking at the fact that it's a delicate matter concerning health, we should have a concerted, strong one, of course, to make sure that this is kept because it's spreading. Next to is we are saying that the ministry...
Great. So, Kabo, we are grateful for your time. Kabo is the General Secretary of the National Union of Ghana Students, and he seems to be concerned about the lack of urgency from the part of government as to how they are addressing this H1N1 virus.
News 360 Skype interview is brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go.
In some other stories this evening, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, Professor Mauto Avok, and a finance officer, Dr. Theophilus Senyor Akoli, have been relieved of their positions at the university. This was after the Winneba High Court found them guilty of procurement and other financial malfeasance. Here's a report by Lucy Ayambila.
The Winneba High Court, presided over by His Lordship Justice Ato Graves Mills, in his judgment said the two principal officers of the University of Education Winneba willfully misappropriated public funds by failing to put to tender for the construction of the North Campus Road, thereby causing financial loss to the state. He further stated that the two, as principal officers, could not obey the simple instructions sent to them by the Ministry of Education regarding their tenure of office. The judge said the Vice-Chancellor chancellor and the finance officer were reckless in managing the scarce resources of the university. It will be recalled that on June 13, the case was first heard and witnessed a lot of controversies. Notable among them were the shutting down of the university by university authorities. There were also several joint applications, including that of UTAG, which was thrown out by the court. Among the reliefs were the extension of the mandate of the governing council, mandate of the defunct council in award of contracts, among others, which was sent to court by a former assembly member of Donkoyim electoral area, Supiko Fikwaira.
You're watching News 360 and there's more to come.
Welcome back to News 360. Time now for some business news. We start off in the transport sector. The Ministry of Railway Development, as part of efforts to revive the rail sector, has held a stakeholders forum with Ghanaian rail consultants and experts. The move forms part of government's plan to revive and expand Ghana's rail system and boost productivity and reduce the impact of heavy-duty trucks on major transit roads.
Only 130 kilometers of the 947-kilometer track length are currently operational, giving freight and passenger service. Several efforts, including a $10 million deal to rehabilitate the 15-kilometer Kojokrom to Takwa section of the Western Rail Lines from Ghana Manganese Company, have been put in place. At a joint stakeholders meeting by the Railway Development Ministry and stakeholders, experts reviewed the master plan presented by engineers working on the various rail tracks. The sector minister, Joe Gatti, was optimistic Ghanaians in the UK with expertise in the rail sector will help smoothing rough edges for a successful delivery of the project. GHIGL Infrastructure, a consultancy firm formed by Ghanaian experts with over 200 years experience in the UK with diverse experience in projects globally, emphasized the need to ensure the right infrastructure is put in place from inception.
So we want to come at the front end to provide the necessary support that the ministry needs to be able to tell them from the concept, critically analyze the master plan, the designs that they are receiving, and also advise them they are on a crooked path or they are on a straight path. So we are here to bring...
The Railway Development Minister disclosed a report on the Accra-bound trail derailment near Tesano will be made public soon. Meanwhile, commuters who patronize the Accra-Nsawam line will have to wait until after Easter in 2018 to use the rail transport.
Even before the derailment, we had closed the Accra-Nsawam line. Well, the Accra-Nsawam line was very dangerous. When the line reaches Achimota, then it forks off either to Tema or goes straight to Nsawam. So even before that, we had closed it. That Yenim Banting Committee has given us far-reaching recommendations, and if it's implemented and with aggressively, I believe that by Easter, that line could have been opened.
He also outlined ongoing projects, including a new train on the rail tracks by 2019.
Let's turn to the banking sector now. ARB Apex Bank has launched its mobile banking platform, an ATM, for rural and community banks in the country. The new electronic channels, dubbed UConnect and UCash, are expected to provide convenience to customers of rural banks and to enhance the connection between rural and universal banks.
With 141 rural and community banks in Ghana, ARB Apex Bank serves as their mini central bank to align rural banks with the current trends in the sector and ensure competitiveness. The ARB Apex Bank has launched two e-banking products, UConnect and UCash, for rural banks. The UConnect platform will facilitate transfer of funds to customer accounts across rural banks and accounts of universal banks. A wallet, which is also based on the subscriber's mobile number, is also available for rural banks customers for cash transfer and cash out at all rural banks. Subscribers on the platform can also purchase mobile phone recharge cards from the various telcos. The UConnect app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store and activated using the short code 976.
We all come from one village or another. And when we travel to our villages and towns to distress from the hustle and bustle of city life, The RCBs are there to provide us with convenient banking needs. We wish to assure all RCBs that the ARB Apex Bank will not require them to operate a deposit margin accounts. So it is an advantage to be on the ARB Apex platform.
The ARB Apex Bank UCash ATM is connected to the GH Link network, and holders of the GH Link cards from other universal banks can perform transactions on the ATM.
With the GH Link card, you have access to all ATMs in the country. We decided to have an EMV Ghana card. Apex Bank with the rural banks are the first to come up with the first EMV card, which I was privileged to be given a copy a couple of weeks ago.
Head of other financial institutions, supervision of the Bank of Ghana, Joseph Amwewa, said the launch of the UConnect and UCash is a milestone in the country's financial inclusion.
Indeed, rural and community banks have come of age. From the days when the main focus was the average peasant farmer domiciled within a restricted regional boundary as dictated by the SWAL regulations and directives, to that of an enlightened customer and having sophisticated needs.
Now, telecommunication giant MTN has treated its customers to an exciting A1 race in Tema. The event forms part of packaged activities to stimulate customers' interest in the brand this Yuletide.
To partake in the A1 kart racing, participants were selected via social media, and subscribers of MTN Pulse experience a data bundle package designed to support customers browsing. The races were first taken through some safety precautions.
So when you get to this side, you slow down.
In batches of 10, the race commenced. It was a great experience for first-time racers. While some racers mastered courage to successfully complete the race, others could not navigate their cars and had to seek for assistance.
It was fun, basically. It was very fun. This is my first time, but then it was fun. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be.
Yes, I didn't have driving experience. I was a little scared, but it was really easy.
Gloria Champon is in charge of MTN Youth segment.
This is to reward a few of our customers on MTN Pulse. They've been with us over the years, and we said, okay, this Christmas season is merrymaking. Let's bring them here, excite them, make them happy about the brand.
She announced other packages designed for the festive period.
Next week, for instance, we have another program, speed shopping, where we call customers to come and shop for free, no strings attached, shop for free. And then, as in Accra, we do one also in Kumasi. That's next week also. So we have a lot of programs packed for our customers this year.
It's a pretty exciting move there by MTN. That's it for the business news this evening on News 360. We've got more business news on our website. That's 3news.com. We've got sports news for you shortly. Stay with us.
Hello again, let's do some more stories. Mary Ahiawude, a pregnant woman, has fallen into a pot of boiling soup. The 31-year-old woman is 5 months pregnant. She is urgently in need of 2,225 cedis per week to help save her life and that of her unborn baby.
Mary Ahiawude is 31 years and is 5 months pregnant. She was admitted at the plastic surgery and burns unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital on November 6, 2017. Doctors say she suffered 25% of her total body surface area in burns involving her right upper limb, trunk and both lower limbs following a fall into a boiling pot of soup.
I was feeling dizzy while working. I don't know how I fell into the soup.
She urgently needs financial assistance to help save her life and that of her unborn baby. Mary is a cook at the Chop Bar on the Spintex Road in Accra. She fell into a boiling pot of soup in the course of work and sustained deep injury.
These burns are so deep that she'll ultimately need skin grafting to cover the wounds. And you can imagine the requirements she needs because of her physiological condition of pregnancy. Unfortunately, she hasn't had any form of social support whatsoever apart from a Good Samaritan who has employed her. And we are happy to say that TV3 have made some significant contribution towards her upkeep and her stay and her medications.
Her employer, who gave his name as Kofi Ferguson, has been the only Good Samaritan helping her since the accident occurred. Her family has deserted her, and her employer, who has been helping her financially, complained his seed money for the chop bar operation has all gone into treatment of Mary's accident. His chop bar has now been closed down. The father of Mary's unborn baby, we gathered, could only support Mary with just 40 cedis out of the 2,225 cedis per week.
I feel pains all over my body. Please help me.
Corporate Affairs Manager of Media General, Richard Ahiabul, on behalf of the company, has presented a check to support some sessions of Mary's treatment. Mary's situation has touched the management of Media General, who have assured her of their support as part of the 12 Days of Giving project.
Media General, parent company of TV3, 3FM, Unu FM, Connect FM, Akuma, and MG Digital, is happy to launch what we call our 12 Days of Giving during the Christmas period. As a business, we believe in giving back to the community. We just started today with a donation to Mary, and we are putting the story out there for other people to come and support.
Kindly donate to the Media General's 3 Foundation to support Mary Ahiaude and her 5 months unborn baby.
Right, beginning entertainment tonight, actress and TV personality Jocelyn Dumas says thoughts of committing suicide once haunted her. Speaking on her TV show, Keeping It Real with Jocelyn Dumas, the gifted actress said such thoughts always popped up because she had no trusted friend to share her problems during hard times. And according to her, or to quote her, I've had suicidal thoughts because I just couldn't trust anybody to talk to. I felt that I was at my lowest of my low. I was at my weakest and I could not rise above it. So I sit there and say, what if I end it all? She disclosed. Now, the celebrated television host believes there is the need for consolation and counseling when one is going through emotional trauma.
Emotional one there by Jocelyn Dumas. But in other entertainment news this evening, Minister for Tourism Catherine Afeku has named a new tourism ambassador for the youth. At the launch of the Youth in Tourism Festival, she applauded the initiative.
The new entrant, Joseph Mate, president of the Tourism Society of Ghana, together with his team, educates students in first and second cycle institutions on the significance of domestic tourism. According to the minister, the initiative will inculcate the sense of belongingness in the youth and help embrace culture in their youthful age.
One of our policy is to promote domestic tourism through the second and third cycle institutions, because that's a big market segment that we are not tapping. And under his tutelage and leadership, we are fully on board with all the great ideas that Tosoga brings to the ministry.
She emphasized the festival will be inculcated into the ministry's activities on its calendar for continuity in coming years. Talking about the ministry's work in its first year, she stated that a lot has been done in the sector to effect change.
If you sit back and look at the 11 months we have taken office under the leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we can humbly say that tourism is becoming a mainstay. We are changing the face of tourism, but we want you to probe assess and give us the feedback.
The 3-day Youth Fest program on the theme My Culture, My Pride will climax with a Thanksgiving service in major cities across the country.
In more entertainment news tonight, cinema goers have every reason to be happy as the Christmas beckons. Now, season 2 of Within the Apartment, a comic TV series, will premiere on December 23 to entertain cinema goers.
I mean, where did you buy this hair from? I have this crazy fashion show I'm attending this weekend, and I want to put it on to slay the red carpet. I mean, you know, nah. I hope it's not artificial.
The X-Man's promises to be fun as the best of comic content have been lined up to amuse revelers. Season 2 of Within the Apartment, a comic TV series, will premiere on December 23 at the West Hills Mall.
You can sing. I'll listen to you.
Okay, thank you.
Frank, sing!
The fun-filled package tells the story of 5 friends with different temperament living under one roof. Expect one thing: petty quarrels, or if you like, funny argument. And the presence of a rather intrusive cleaner adds to both the fun and irritation.
I learned laughing is even a medicine for the soul. Yeah. So come to watch Within the Apartment just to put some smile on your face on the 23rd December. Now, when you watch some of the episodes, we have some episode whereby a guy maltreating a lady, which is not right. So when you watch the one we just watched, we get to know that the fair man was trying to defend the lady because it's not right for a man to maltreat a lady. So in terms of coming out with social life is there.
Within the Apartment features both experience and promising acting talent.
It's the end of the year and you have to make yourself happy. It's the birth month of Jesus Christ.
You're going to really laugh and laugh. I mean, what better way do you want to end your year?
Now, if you must know again.
All right, I'm sure that's what time to laugh at this.
Yeah,
but I thought Jocelyn Dumas' story really captured my emotion.
It's great for her to open up in that sense because we all need somebody.
Everybody needs a friend. I didn't know I liked her so much. Jocelyn, don't do that. Right? All right, I'm Mr. Money. Thanks for watching News 360.
And I'm Natalie Ford. You've got more news on our website, that's 3news.com. And as always, news at 10 will simulcast on our sister station, 3FM 92.7. Thanks so much for watching. Have an incredible weekend.